Hey, how's it going? My name is Wes. Welcome back to yet another Spanish lesson. Lesson number 65, Ways of Transportation, part 2 of 2. In the previous blue vocabulary lesson, we already went over part number 1 out of 2 of Ways of Transportation. And in today's lesson, we will finish this topic by looking at some more words and phrases. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into today's lesson. Alright, so the first word that we'll learn in today's lesson is the ticket. The ticket, which I think we've already learned before. We saw that there were 3 different ways of saying the ticket. We saw that we could say el billete, or el boleto, or el tiquete. It all means the ticket, and whichever one you use depends on the country or region you're in.
El billete. El billete. El boleto. El boleto. El tiquete. El tiquete.
Alright, then the next word is the train station, which in Spanish is
La estación de tren. La estación de tren.
so la estación, the station, so the station of the train.
La estación de tren.
Alright, then beside the station, we also have, of course, the different lines. So for example, the metro line, which is the line of the metro.
La línea de metro. La línea de metro.
So la línea, the line. Then in the previous blue vocabulary lesson, we already saw the word
La parada.
which meant the stop. So if you want to say, for example, the bus stop, you could say
La parada de autobús. La parada de autobús.
Alright, so enough with the public transportation stuff. Let's go over to if you, for example, drive a car and you want to go to the gas station. It's pretty important to know the word for the gas station if you run out of gas and you want to ask someone, where is the gas station? So the gas station is
La estación de servicio. La estación de servicio.
the gas station. So literally translated, you would say the station of service. The station of service. And this is one way of saying the gas station in Spanish. There's actually another way of saying gas station, which is
La gasolinera. La gasolinera.
and the word gasolinera comes from the word gasolina, which means gasoline or fuel.
Gasolina. Gasolina.
Alright, let's move on. So the title of today's topic is Ways of Transportation. So let's look at the different ways of transportation. So first and foremost, we can use our own legs to get from place A to B. And we do this by walking. So the verb for to walk in Spanish is
Caminar. Caminar.
so with this verb, you can now start conjugating this into the correct conjugation. So for example, I walk is yo camino, or we walk is caminamos. So caminar is to walk.
Caminar.
Then to drive in Spanish is
Conducir. Conducir.
and this verb is actually a bit more irregular. So for example, in the I form, you would say yo conduzco. Or in the we form, you would say conducimos. So conducir, to drive.
Conducir.
Alright, and then the last verb that I want to give you is to fly, which in Spanish is volar.
Volar. Volar.
So for example, yo vuelo, I fly. So volar, to fly. So we have to walk,
Caminar.
to drive,
Conducir.
and to fly.
Volar.
Alright, so then to end this lesson, let's look at 3 more helpful sentences that we can use in Spanish. The first one is, which I think we've already went over in the previous lesson, which is the next stop is.
La próxima parada es. La próxima parada es.
The next stop is. If you want to ask, for example, at what time does the next train depart, you could use this phrase.
¿A qué hora sale el próximo tren? ¿A qué hora sale el próximo tren?
And then the last sentence, which is, how do I get to by bike?
¿Cómo llego a? En bicicleta. ¿Cómo llego a? En bicicleta.
En bicicleta or en bici, by bicycle or by bike, or en coche, by car, and so forth. Alright, and with that being said, that's the end of this lesson, Ways of Transportation, part 2 of 2. So we are now done with Ways of Transportation in Spanish. Alright, that's it for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in the next lesson. Adios.